someone who knows, California Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff. He's the newly named ranking member of the Intelligence Committee. Thank you so much, Congressman, for being here. It's always a pleasure. First up, what's your take on the accuracy of the president's rendering of progress on the ground last night? How can he say that we've stopped the advance of ISIS when they appear to have doubled the amount of territory they control in Syria right now?
Well, I think it's fair to say in Iraq that we have stopped the advance of ISIS. We have, in fact, worked with the Kurds to roll back some of ISIS's earlier gains. We have a much more favorable government in Baghdad that can work to mend some of the sectarian divides. So we have a partner in Iraq. We have made progress in halting momentum of ISIS in Iraq. But you're right, the same cannot be said of Syria. ISIS, I think, has gained ground in parts of Syria. Yes, they've been off in Kobani. That's a battle of largely symbolic importance, but it's certainly true that that was on the precipice of falling, and that has been arrested. But in other parts of Syria, ISIS has expanded its territory, and perhaps equally disturbing, Al-Qaeda's franchise, al-Nusra, has very significantly expanded its holdings in Syria. So I think it's true we've put together a broad coalition, and that wasn't easy, and that's very positive. But I don't think we can say we've halted the growth of the extremist territory in Syria.
Representative, we've had many a fine legal explainer we've done together. I want to get your legal take on this one. The president seemed to reverse course, calling for actual congressional authorization for the current military activities against ISIS. What does that reveal about the legality of what's happening now?
I think it reveals that the president has been very uncomfortable with the legal argument that the two existing authorizations to use force that passed right after 9/11 and that which allowed us to use force against Iraq when Saddam Hussein was there. I think he recognizes that's a very weak legal and constitutional footing to base this new military campaign on. So I think in terms of his legacy and in terms of today, he would like a new authorization. He hasn't been prepared yet to actually submit one to Congress because he knows basically anything he submits gets shot down, and I think he'd rather work with Congress to try to agree upon mutually acceptable language. I think that can be done, but there are three issues we're going to have to get over, and it's going to be tough, and that is what language will there be prohibiting the use of ground forces? What language will there be sunsetting this authorization and the prior authorizations? And will there be a geographical limitation to Syria and Iraq? Or, as Secretary Kerry testified in the Foreign Affairs Committee, will they seek something broader to give them authority to go into Nigeria or Libya or elsewhere?
Well, one area that we're looking at now deteriorating very rapidly and that I presume you've seen the intelligence on is, of course, Yemen. How concerned are you looking at the intelligence that this will spill over beyond Yemen, that this will adversely affect our counterterrorism operations around the region, since Yemen is such a critical launch pad for a lot of those operations?
I'm very concerned about it, and Yemen for a while had been on a positive trajectory. We had a new and better president than Saleh, who had been very divisive. It looked like we were making progress against AQAP. We'd taken out a lot of their leadership. But unfortunately, that has really unraveled as the Houthis have taken over large parts of Yemen. This has the potential of igniting a real fight between the Sunni tribes and the Houthis, which are Shia. That will only give a lot of comfort and free rein for Al-Qaeda to have a resurgence in Yemen, potentially. So it has really thrown, I think, into some disarray our counterterrorism efforts there and put at risk the partnership that we have with the Yemen government.
And troubling assessment all around. Congressman Schiff, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Ronan.